Hey everybody, my name is Terrorconn and today we're going to be continuing to check out Satisfactory. If you haven't seen part 1, feel free to go check it out, otherwise we'll go over a couple of things that we talked about in part 1. Satisfactory is currently in closed beta, and we've managed to get our hands on a early access key to have a bit of a play before the release. The game's looking to be released mid to end of March 2019, releasing into early access, so feel free to get your hands on it now in anticipation. If you've ever played Factorio, you're going to see a few similarities with this game. The object of the game is for us to study the planet, export materials back into space, and while we're here, we do everything manually to start off with, such as harvesting and building, and we work our way to completely automating all of those mundane tasks and future tasks as well. Alright, let's kick into it. So what we've done is, in part 1, we established a very small base and we've upgraded it a few times. We started out having to complete all of the tier 0 objectives, and as we've gone through, we've unlocked all of these different rewards, such as being able to create crafting benches, equipment workshops and smelters, moving up onto constructors and starting to introduce electricity, moving on to the first step of automation there, which is the conveyor belts, moving materials from point A to point B, moving from a completely manual mining process to an automated mining process using power and storage containers as well. And then finally on to stage 5 here, which is where we finished up in part 1. So we've just unlocked the biomass burner and the space elevator, so we'll be looking at creating those today and working our way through tier 1. Now we're probably going to pick the eyes out of these, look at what we're looking for out of all of that list and pluck out the ones that we desperately need. If there's not really anything that we desperately need, we'll just work our way through tier 1, one step at a time. So we've upgraded our base inside. We've got a couple of beds, a little research station here for us to throw materials into to do some testing. So we need 10 flower petals or 1 pale berry. I believe we've got a pale berry here, so this is our base storage. So we'll grab one of those and we'll feed that in. I'm not sure what this is doing. All I know is that it just takes a bit of time for it to do whatever it's doing. It's just testing all of the materials that we feed it, but I don't know what the benefit is. I'm not sure if it gives us new blueprints or anything like that. Let's see what's in our screens today. Unlicked objects still, chats, and some sort of prompt. Alright, so in episode 1 we first started out and we had a completely, we had absolutely nothing. We started out by building the space platform here and upgrading it a couple times. We did all of our mining manually with a little chisel, and then we moved on to using a portable miner. A portable miner can hold 100 of the material that it is mining, so you have to constantly have to go and empty that out. We've got a couple of the portable miners still working today, so we'll go over and we'll show you what those look like if you haven't had a chance to see them already. We've got some pretty interesting looking creatures flying around every now and then. We've got some material that we'll pick up on the way. Now, leaves and wood we can turn into biomass, which is used to create power. Since we've moved from the manual process, or at least started to move from that process, we do have to start looking at fuel sources so that we can have a reasonably steady flow of power. So we need leaves and wood that we could turn into biomass that we could feed into our reactor that will create power for us. So this is the first miner that you get after the chiseling. So you start out by having to do this, and you're there for a few days getting what you need. So we move on to this here, and it's stopped at the moment because it's full. So we'll set that away again by taking everything out, and it'll sit there and it'll just manually putter away. It'll grab 100 of those. It does 1 per second. We'll come back down and empty that out later on. So we have another one down here that is currently in the process of, or we did have one down here that was in the process of making limestone for us. We'll put one down there again now. Just so I happen to have one with me. It's quite an interesting process to watch when they first start up, so we'll plonk that down. It sort of just goes through this checking phase. And away it goes. And that'll do the same thing as well. So that's mining 1 per second. So we'll come back later on as we need that. Now the game does have a pretty nice day-night cycle. It's not terribly dark at night time. I haven't seen any sort of torches or anything like that so far, so I don't think there's any particular days that are darker than others. Now, once we unlocked our first miners, we also unlocked the smither, and this allows us to pick from either iron or copper. And so in this case, because I've got a little bit of copper here, we'll spin this one up and we just feed the raw material straight in. Now we've got no power, and we can see that we've got no power by the red indicators, so anything that requires power will have a red indicator on it. It's either that it's lacking material or the like, so everything over here in the distance there is flashing red. It's because our whole line has been shut down. So what I'll do is we'll head over here, we'll create just a little bit of biofuel, biomass. We'll create some wood as well. Now biomass is great to start out with, but we burn through it very, very quickly. And so we do have the option to completely stop the production of power whenever we're not needing it. So we have to reset the fuse here because it did shut down, I guess not so gracefully. So it's popped the fuse as well, so we just have to pull that lever down, and that there should start back up. So that thing there's got a little bit of fuel in it, and now we should start seeing all of this pop back in. So this is the first thing that we automated, the mining process. So we have 2 auto miners here, and they're just mining some iron. It spits it onto a little conveyor belt here, brings it down into a smelter, which then turns it into iron ingots. They head up here into a little storage container. The storage container then passes them straight through onto a separate conveyor belt. Those conveyor belts come up to 2 crafting stations. On the right side here, we've got it making iron plates, and this one here we've got set to iron plates at the moment as well. We're finding that there's quite a large demand for iron plates at the moment. The iron rods that we've got here, they're a lot easier to make manually, so we'll probably just stick with making them manually for now. But if we desperately need them, we can switch all of these 2 devices here to rods if we need an abundance of them, or if we need a large amount, sorry. And then the final destination there is for it to spit it out of our little crafter there and store it into the storage container. Because we've got no conveyor belt, that'll be the final destination, and it'll just stay there in the storage. So that's where we got to last time. So what we need to do is we need to look at automating the copper process and automating the stone process as well. But the problem with that is that we don't have enough fuel to be able to sort of keep up with all of this. If we head back to the machines now, we can see that that's down to 84. It's meant to burn 1 a second, but I think at the moment it might be burning a little bit quicker. So we've got a capacity of 40 megawatts, but at the moment we're not quite at full, but we're getting there. We do have the option to build a new biomass burner, which we unlocked when we finished up in part 1. So it produces 20 megawatts as well, but it's more of an external device to this one in our base. So as we upgraded our base, these got built in there as well. So if we wanted to, we could build our own individual fuel sources down by the little setups that we've got, and they can have their own individual energy feeders, if you will. So as for our logistics, everything else there we've already had a chance to play with. I think probably the next step for us is, as brutal as it sounds, is for us to look at maybe moving on to tier 2 just to get obstacle clearing. If we can get our hands on that chainsaw, we could go over and we could knock a few trees down. And I'm hoping that by doing that, that's going to allow us to use those trees for more fuel. So I think we'll start with that and we'll see how we go. So you can set little milestones, and if you're missing, so say for example if I needed to make an ingot here, I can add it to my to-do list and it'll tell me what I'm missing, and when I've got the prerequisite item to be able to make that, it'll just come with a little green, grey tick. As for this one here, we've set a hub obstacle or a hub milestone, and so it doesn't come up with a little tick. Instead, what we just have to do is we just have to look at how many resources are required and compare it with what we've got in our inventory. So at the moment we know we need 200 rods, and so I can make 124, so we'll bust a few of those out manually. We also need to make 500 wire. We've got enough to make 255. I don't want to automate the process of copper just yet, or stone just yet, until we get that chainsaw and see if we can start making more biomass. If we can start making more biomass, then we can start automating a few more bits and pieces without having to worry about everything shutting down. It will shut down at some stage, and it makes an almighty racket when it does. So we've got 100 there, and I'm going to change this to iron rods now, because I know that the other one has 100 in it as well. So there's our 200. If we can get it to come over, which it doesn't look like it wants to. There we go. That'll do. So we've got 200 of those sheets now, which is good. We'll leave this one here just producing sheets, because we will need them later on. So we still need about 70 rods. So we'll let that do its thing. We're going to head over to our manual copper miner, which looks like it's got its 100. This thing here has finished tuning those ones that we put in, the copper ore that we put in before. Looks like that's all finished now. So grab that, set that underway again. Grab a leaf on the way. And we'll pop our head in here and grab all of that and load it back up again. Alright, we've got the green light, which means that's all working. We're going to take that out and that out. And load a few things into there that we're not using immediately, just to save us a little bit of space. So we should have enough copper now to make the 500 wire that we need. Wire's nice and quick to make. I think you make three at a time. So we should hit 500 pretty quickly. After we get 500 of these, we'll head over to the storage container, see how many iron rods we've got there, and maybe pick up a few iron ingots and just give it a little bit of a hand. It looks like the chainsaw naturally uses biomass as well for it to work its magic. Let's take all. Alright, so we're needing about 40 more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump onto here. I'm going to grab all of these. Nom 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 nom. Leave the occasional one here or there. Alright, so our plant is completely shut down now. It's run out of power. So we'll switch to manual for now, and that's why we need to get that chainsaw all up and running as soon as we can. If we can get that up and running, we can cut some trees down, make a few thousand biomass, and hopefully load them into the machines so we don't have to worry about power for a while. And we can worry about automating the, or finding a better power source later on. So we need 35. I'll go over here. I'm good enough there to make our last handful. Cool. So that should be all of the resources we need, so we'll load them in. There's 200. There's 200. And there's 500. And we hit launch. I haven't launched the pod before, so that's going to be fun to watch.
Additional to an inventory expansion, you are now capable of removing foliage that consists primarily out of wood.
Away it goes. Very, very cool. And so that'll return at some stage, I'm sure. So now when we pop in here, that'll be back in 5 minutes. We should better make our chainsaw now, but I'm not sure where. Possibly the equipment bench over here. Yep. So, reinforced plate, a few iron rods there, some cable and some screw. That's fine. Let's mark that actually. We'll add to our to-do. Cool. So, we pop in here and we need reinforced. So we'll make one of those. We need a whole bunch of screws, so we need a whole bunch of rods. So we'll make a bunch of those. We'll make a bunch of screws. Make a whole bunch of reinforced steel or iron. And for that one we just need plain old copper. So we should be able to get the cable portion done. There should be a grey tick there now. So, what we have to do here is we need to go and grab any sort of iron plates we've got laying around. Let's see how much we can squeeze out of this. Nothing. That's cool. Alright. So, what we probably need to do is go and collect a whole bunch of leaves and or foliage, wherever we can get our hands on it. Spin the automation process back up. Because we've got a few things that we need to make there, and it's going to be reasonably time consuming if we have to sit there and chisel away all night, so probably better to just run around and destroy some plant life in the name of science. Some more there, grab all of that. Couple more up here. Got some wood there too, which is good. Now, we better equip this because we're starting to head out of our base a little bit. So, this thing here is what we use for combat. It is essentially just a cattle prod. There are some hostile aliens on this planet. We've managed to come across one hostile so far. The other ones that we've come across have been reasonably friendly, albeit creepy looking. Right. Grab a few more here. So something that we learnt in part 1 as well is that we could hold down C and we can ping for certain materials. So if I'm wanting to find additional iron, we just release on there and we'll send a ping out and it'll give us a location also on the compass at the top as well. So we've got 330 meters away, 200 meters away, We can do that for all 3 of the material types that we've learned about now. So 300, 100, 300, 200. Alright, we've got a whole bunch of biomass. So we'll make as much of that as we can, split it into 2 stacks. Load the machine up around the corner. So, let's split that into 2 stacks, load 100 into there. And we'll load 100 into there. Actually, what if I take that out? Take that out. Biomass and biomass, so that's cool. We'll do 146. We'll do 147. Kickstart the fuse on the left one. And the right one's fine too. Alright, so everything should start powering up again. Right, so we don't need any more plates for now. So we'll stop that and we'll get a nice little backlog of iron ingots. Actually, we'll turn that into iron rods and power it back on. I think we'll both make rods for a little bit. So rods are required to make screws. So we're wanting quite a few rods. And screws in turn are used to make reinforced iron plates. So we'll just sit on that for a wee while. While that does that, we might go for a little bit of a walk. I'm going to have a bit of a explore. In part 1 we had a bit of a climb up there. We found out that you could actually climb this, but you can also break it down as well. Pull certain pieces of wood apart there, which is nice. Some more biomass for us. So we'll go for a little bit of a walk. See if we can find something. I've got a weird looking it looks maybe like a plant all the way over there. Might break this down while we're here. Pure iron ore. Fantastic. So there's different purities of the ore. I think our mining stations at the moment are sitting on, I think it's impure. Or it might be, it's a low grade anyway. It's not definitely not pure. So the output is a lot lower, from my understanding. So when we first started mining it, I think I was getting 1 per chisel. Off that one we just had there, we're getting about 6 to 8. Yes, we're getting 6 off this. And this is also pure as well. Cool. I don't see any spectacular things out there besides the breathtaking scenery, which is absolutely beautiful. I was hoping to see if we could find a little alien who wants to fight us. We need to get a couple shells. There we go. There's one that'll fight us. There's 2 that'll fight us. So we need to collect their shells for research. So we'll go over and we'll engage in combat. So like I was saying before, we just use this little cattle prodder that we've got. It doesn't seem to have any sort of durability on it. There is a whole bunch of them. I haven't fought more than one at a time, so should see how this goes. I am getting messed up. Got him. Zapped one. There you go. That's one. Woohoo. Got him. And again. Beautiful. Alright, so there's two. I think we got one or two back at base. This stuff's spitting out some green stuff here. I don't know what it does. But I don't know if I want to get terribly close while I'm low on health. Yep, that's slowly killing me. Cool. So stay away from green stuff. We'll pluck a whole bunch of flowers on the way through, and we'll grab one of those as well for research. Got some yellow flowers there, we'll grab a few of them. Some more foliage to burn. Stunning. Alright, so we'll go out in just a little bit and do some deforesting. Let's see what we get from cutting trees down, hopefully biomass. We'll grab all the copper while we're here and get that back up and running. We'll sprint down here and grab the limestone as well. So limestone is turned into concrete. So we don't need a large amount of it, or it didn't look like we need a large amount of it for a wee while there. So we'll just come down and check that one every now and then. We'll try and check the copper one a wee bit more often. So if we can get a chainsaw and go and cut down some trees, get a whole bunch of biomass, then we will turn that into a completely automated process. Sorry, I thought I heard a little noise of a monster roaming around in my base, but apparently not. Take all of those, and that's underway. Alright, so we had 140-ish in both of these. Down to 100, and yeah. We should have enough iron rods now to do everything we need. So we'll take all them, and take all them. Research might possibly be done as well. Flower petals. Ah, cool, so I can now scan for berries. That's cool. So if we hold down C, no. Oh, I didn't even realise this existed, so that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Text block. Cool. 88 additional samples are required for RMD to continue developing defense-oriented blueprints. Cool. Alright. We've got tab, which is our inventory, F for destruction, Q there to build, V for our flashlight, and C for our scan. Now it said that we could scan for petals, but I just don't see that happening. We might eat some berries. Don't they look tasty? There's one, there's two. I'll eat this last one as well. Perfect. Put our little taser back on. Okay, so we'll pop in here. And we just make a few screws to make some reinforced. We need to make 2 reinforced iron plates. So we've got enough of that now. So that's that one completed. Now the last thing that we need is screws. 160 screws. So we'll just mass produce some screws. And there's our tick. So we should be able to make the chainsaw now over here. And hey presto, we've got a chainsaw. So, haven't used this before. It's quite a meaty chainsaw. Ah, of course it requires biofuel. Canisters. That is a very, very cool looking chainsaw. It is a shame though that we cannot use it until we learn stage 1, tier 1, there we go, tier 1 biofuel. So we need to learn that. So, we'll tag that up there. We'll sprint over here. We'll collect everything. And we'll turn these into iron plates, because we need 150 iron plates. Turn that one into iron plates as well, because I think we should have pretty close to enough iron rods. Let's have a look. Yep, we've got more than enough iron rods. We need to turn all of those so we can make some sheets or plates. And we also need to make 500 copper wire, which we have enough to make 618, so that's good. Alright. So we need 500 of these. 100. 200. 300. 4. And 5. Cool. Go over here and grab a couple of these plates. We've got 147. We should have everything that we need now to do our next hub upgrade. So we'll head over there and we'll do that. And we'll hit our little launch thing as well. Utilities.
You have unlocked several structures aimed to provide the first needed to build basic factory infrastructure. Additionally, the biofuel blueprint will ensure improved fuel consumption of biomass burners. Additionally, you can now build the space elevator, which is integral to your contribution to project assembly.
Good to know. So the pod will return in about 2 minutes for our next upgrade, but we won't have anything ready in that amount of time. So let's have a look here. I've unlocked nothing new for power, nothing new for logistics. Got some new walls there and doors, and a lookout tower. It provides a good overview, useful for building. I don't completely understand why, but that's okay. How tall is this tower? It's not terribly tall compared to other things. It probably is. Yeah, okay, it's quite a bit bigger. I wonder if I can put it at the top there. That would be fantastic. Let's go and find out. Let's put it all the way at the top of this thing. So we climbed up this in part 1. There was a weird orb thing at the top when we did, and we collected that, and the computer told us that it wants to study it, but it wouldn't take it, so we just decided to hold on to it. And we're falling to our death. So slow and steady wins the race. Cool. Climb up here, and that should put us on the top. Can we build on an uneven surface? Damn. Foiled again. That would have been very, very cool to put it up here. I mean, this thing here is significantly better than the watchtower if we were to build it. So maybe we'll just leave this until we find a sufficient enough reason to actually go and specifically build a watchtower. Jump down here, jump down there, sprint down there. Oh, almost overshot that. Splat. Alright. Little ship spec, but we don't need that. So what we do need to know is we need to find out how to make biofuel canisters so that we can load them into our chainsaw. So any old biomass, apparently. That works. I wonder what the burn time is on a biofuel canister versus just a biomass. And can I load the canisters into this thing? The most efficient form of biomass. I'd love to see what the burn time is. Let's cram that in there. 15 seconds. Oh boy. Okay, yeah, that is significantly better. Alright. So we're going to switch everything to fuel canisters. Now we've got our little chainsaw here. It should be working now. Give it a little rev. Yep. Alright. Got the volume turned down a little bit. Let's jump into there. Pop into our little audio. Ambient volume. Music volume. I'll just turn the master sound up a little bit so we can listen to the rev of the chainsaw. Maybe boost these other ones down too. Just a little bit. Right. That'll do. Little rev there. Let's go knock a tree over and see what we get from it. Small tree. What do we get from you? We get leaves and wood and flower petals. That's fantastic. So can we remove a big tree? Yes, we can. We somehow got limestone from it too. It does seem to burn through about one canister per large tree there. But I think we're getting more than that back. More than like enough to make a canister back. So let's knock another tree over. Let's knock a couple. It's a big tree over there. Whoa. There's a heap of wood. Deforestation. Alright, that should do for now. We'll tuck that away. We'll grab our little taser out because we're a wee bit far from home. Don't know how good the chainsaw would be in a little fight. All of this land at some stage we're going to end up using to feed the machine that is automation. Got our copper here, which looks like it's good to go. I'm going to go and turn all of our leaves and all of our wood into biomass and turn that all into biofuel. And go and load up our generators there. I'm going to switch one of these constructors onto rods. That one there will do. Alright. All of the biofuel. I've got 1,000 wood to use as well. Can't afford recipe. That's fine by me. I'm guessing this stacks up to 200 like everything else. Let's have a wee look. Yep, stacks up to 200. Fantastic. Alright, I might whip around the corner and we'll throw 100 into both. And that should tide it over for a very long time. 15-second burn time. Yeah, that's heaps better. Cool. So, I'm going to mass produce a whole bunch of that. We might have to build another reactor for us to be able to do the copper. I don't think our power consumption is going to be enough. Our power output is going to be enough for us to sustain 1 or 2 more automators for mining. Right, insufficient space, that's fine, because we're going to go and load all of our biomass into there. Petals can go on there, wood can go on there, that can go on there, that can go on there, and the rest of it can stay on us for now. Alrighty. So, for us to make a an automated miner, we need 5 concrete as well. So I'm going to make that 5 concrete now. And we've got the manual miner over there, which is consumed in the process of making a automated miner. So we'll grab that as well. We'll take it all. Alright, and there is our auto miner. So now we have to figure out the orientation that we want to use. I think it's going to probably suck either way. If we tilt it that way, at least it's heading towards our base, but yeah. What are we wanting to do? We're wanting to tag a smelter onto it to turn it into ingots, and then we want to tag a storage container onto that. Now, copper is an interesting one because copper only makes wires, and then everything that is copper related branches from wires, at least so far. So for us to go from copper wire to cables, or if we're wanting cables, it's not copper ingot to cables, it's copper ingot to copper wire to cable. So I think maybe if we point it, say, that direction, feed it into a smelter, then feed it into a crafter to turn it into wire, to put it into storage. But it makes me think that maybe we should send it towards the base. Let's try this out. Let's see how we go. We can always pull it apart. We don't get 100% of the resources back, but that's okay. So if I get out old reliable chainsaw here and clean this place up a little bit. And of course I left all the biofuel back at the base. We can rip that smelter up there. Let's grab all of that. We can rip that smelter up then, and we can use that with this thing. Break that up. That one's broken as well. We'll break that too. Grab that and break this one. That should be enough. We just need to collect anything else after that. So let's figure this one out now. Here, it has to go straight into a smelter, which we don't quite have the material to make. Let's change back to this. Let's deconstruct that. Alright. Now we should be able to make the smelter. Now, that's going to be quite silly looking, just sort of floating there. So, let's put it there. I'm a little bit worried though that we're not going to be able to do that. Yeah, it's alright, just doesn't look very nice, but that's okay. So that'll go down into the smelter. We'll ignore the fact that it's glitching through there. We want to throw copper into there, and then we want to throw a constructor, which we are missing 3 reinforced iron for, so we'll grab whatever we need to make that, unless we've got enough already. We've got enough to make 1. So I think this fella here should have that, and this guy here should have a whole bunch of that stuff. So let's go ahead, break down some screws. 1, 2, 3, 4. And our inventory's full. That's fine, that should fix that. 1, 2, 3. An extra one for good luck. Constructor. Now, a green line sort of appears when we're in line. It's just below the constructor there now. Oh, and I just moved it as I clicked it. This is going to be ever so slightly off to a point that it's going to be frustrating enough. I know, it's close enough that it's not noticeable. That's great. Alright, now, the last thing we need is a storage container. I think it's down here. There we go. And we've got enough for a storage container. So we'll grab that. We'll plonk that down. Once we find the straight there. And slightly moved it as he clicks. That's cool. That's fine. Alright. So, automatically mining, splitting into a furnace, turning into ingot, splitting into that, turning into nothing at the moment, but we're going to turn it into wire. We'll split it into a storage container, and now we have wire whenever we need it there, iron rods whenever we need it there, and iron sheets whenever we need it there. So we have to run some cables over. So for each power line that we have, we can only connect 4. So what I might do is I might run one over here and plonk it down, say, here. And we'll connect a wire from there all the way back to there when we have cable, which we do not have at the moment. Cable, let's make a few wire and make a few cable because we need to wire everything up. Alright, so we should be able to click that and click there, click that one and click there, click that one and click there, and click that and click there. Now that should roar into life very soon. Why hasn't that started? Oh, there we go. Oh, because it's normal copper ore. So, oh no, it just took a little bit there to establish its initial startup. Alright, so that's going to head on down there. It's going to go into there. That is now green, which means it has the product that it needs to do its job. Copper comes out, that'll turn green because it'll have the material it needs. It's going to spit out spools of wire. Man, that looks nice. Very cool. Alright, and that'll just sit in there for storage. Okay, so let's check out our fuel stores and energy consumption. So we're right on that 40 megawatt power now. So we are going to need to build, if we're wanting to build anything else, we're going to have to build a biomass generator. So we've almost consumed 30 biofuel with everything that we've got here. Now that is backed up for some reason. Why is that backing up? It doesn't seem to be running any slower. That thing there's not running any slower. We might build that biomass generator now, because I'm worried that maybe just maybe, that is running a little bit slower than it should because we're sitting right on the cusp of power. So we'll run over here, we'll grab our freshly automated copper wire production line, and we'll make ourselves a biomass burner. The question is, where do we want to put it? We'll probably keep it all together. Now, is this the same as... No, it's not. Sort of. It's sort of the same as our other biomass generators. So let's get out maybe the chainsaw. I'm thinking about plonking them here, then that way I can build multiple in this corner. Let's put that there, because we should be able to build 2 or 3 beside each other there, and maybe go 1 or 2 deep as well. Yeah, 1. Yeah, so I can build 2 more at the back there, and I can build 3 long here. I feel like I want to do that now, but at the same time I also do not, because I don't have enough supplies to keep up with 1,000 generators. Okay, so we'll burn through this, clear that up a little bit, and of course I totally plonked it around the wrong way, and that is going to be enough to actually annoy me, so we'll break that. We will hit Q and do the biomass generator. Yep, and we'll plonk that right. Okay, so it can clip with the alright. There we go. Cool. Now, of course, we have to run a power line from there to there, which is fine. And we will load 99 into there. Alright, so that's now producing power. I'm going to hit T and change it to that. Now, it said 15 before. Has it increased? No, it's still 15 per minute. That's okay. Maybe it is just genuinely slow. Later on we do get conveyor belt splitters, so it might be worth splitting this line into 2 and getting 2 iron rod production lines going. There's really ultimately no point in running this, since we're consuming exactly 40. We only need 40 at the moment, so we'll leave that and we'll let that do its thing. We've suddenly started burning through quite a bit of that biofuel. Let's pop over here and we'll grab all of... Actually, no, we'll leave it for now. Okay, so we've done utility. Let's look at logistics. So we won't be too far off the mark for doing that one, so we'll do that now. We need 200 iron sheets, of which we only need about... I'm looking at the copper rods as well. We've got 90 copper rods that we need. 17 sheets left. And then 500 copper wire. Now this wouldn't have put out 500 copper wire by now, but it should have done a substantial amount. 237 out of 500 there. Grab everything in there and everything in there. So that's enough iron plates and I believe enough iron rods for us to do what we need to do. Yep, it is. So now we just need copper wire. Look, it's going out of fashion, so we'll just make a few there to get to 500, and that'll upgrade our hub there. 400, 100 more. And that's done. Alright, so we'll do the next upgrade there. So 200 of those, 200 of those, and launch. Away it goes.
Milestone reached. Conveyor belts can now merge and split to increase the complexity and efficiency of your factory. The productivity display will help you measure and improve the productivity of individual buildings to aid with optimization.
That's pretty cool. Don't know how we use that screen, but it's cool nonetheless. And we also don't need a screen to tell us that that is not running efficiently, but that's neither here nor there. So the question now is, do we rip everything up and build everything more efficiently now that we know we can? So if we go to, I'm guessing it's probably logistics, merge 3 conveyor belts into 1, split conveyor belts in 3. The problem is, as cool as it would be to throw a conveyor belt splitter and use only one auto miner to cut down on power and therefore fuel consumption, this thing over here is actually keeping up with the amount of copper it needs, iron that it needs to produce what it's making. It's this line here that it's not. So, do I split this line and have 2 lines of copper, iron rods being made? Possibly. I'm worried about the fuel consumption. Personal storage is the next one, which isn't too far off, so we may as well get that underway now. Need 55 iron rods. We've got enough sheets, and we need some copper wire. So we'll start making some copper wire. We should have almost enough over in the storage for us to hit that goal as well. So we'll pop over here, grab whatever's in there. Yep. Possibly. Yeah, and we should have almost enough of that. We can make the last few, that's fine. Make the last few of those. And right on cue, 16 seconds remaining. Little dude returns. We could send that away pretty much right away. Gentle. There we go. Alright. We'll load that up, and that one there, and send him away. Personal storage increase.
Milestone reached. Additional storage options have been provided. R&D inflated your pocket dimension and developed a personal storage box accessible in the build menu.
Oh, so we can actually build a proper... We can build additional storage now as well. Apparently. There we go. Personal storage. That is very cool. It's also increased our own personal storage, which is nice. Because we were cutting it pretty close there for the longest time. Alright, let's have a look at our next one here. Exploration basics. Object scanner. Ah, of course. Okay, so the object scanner, and there's the object scanner for the berries. So earlier on we wanted to look for berries, or scan for berries. So when that comes back, we'll send it away with 2 berries. It seems reasonably inefficient for a game that wants to be very, very efficiency based. We're going to send probably $1 billion spaceship into space with 2 berries so that we can start scanning for berries. That's alright. Alright, so back to the original thought of splitting that line to make 2 iron rod lines. If I was to do that, I could probably utilise that space over there, run a line in there to run a splitter, Run it over there, smelt it, run it over there, into a container, comes out of the container, splits into two lines, and comes up into two constructors that would sit here. But the problem is, if we put the constructors down there and have the final point as that storage container, I like having that storage container as that final point, so as you're having to run off and collect things. I mean, we've got this container here, and it's a little tiny bit of a hike, and there will be a more efficient way later on, I'm sure. Alright, so let's have a look at exploration basics, and we'll tag that as our milestone. We don't have any more copper on us, so we're now purely relying on the automated process for copper, which is fine. We'll come back and grab that later on. We've got 100 iron sheets exactly, and we need 100 iron rods, so we'll make 100 of those. Now the advantage to having all of that copper backing up, and I'm sure a couple of you have probably been thinking about it too, or we've got all of this stuff just sitting here, all of this iron sitting on this line. The reason that I've put storage containers here is that in the event of either that machine being removed or being shut down, or whatever the case may be, the storage container can actually act as exactly that, a storage container, and it can just hold on to any excess. And so we've got this centralized spot that if we want to come and grab the raw material ourselves and do the old manual crafting, we can. So we could do, yeah, we might disable that other miner. That'll save on power. We'll let that smelt the last of whatever it needs to smelt, and we'll put that on standby too. We'll let that run up there, and we'll just let all of the excess run out of that for now, and we'll come back to that later on. We'll take all of that. We've now got 100, and we need 53 more copper wire. That'll suffice. And that should send away the robot dude, or the launch pod, so that's away.
Milestone reached. To ensure your survival and effectiveness when exploring xenoplanetary environments, you now have access to an object scanner and beacons.
Alrighty. So, where can we make nothing new out of those? Got nothing new there. I'm guessing it's the equipment table. Alright, so what are beacons and why should we have one? I'm guessing that they're probably for marking important things. Or torches, I guess. Right. And funnily enough, we need beacons to be able to make the object scanner. Each mark a point of interest displays on your compass with the colour and name that you set for it. So that's what a beacon does. So we need to make 3 beacons, which requires 3 iron plates. So we need 9 of those. 9 of those, 3 of those, and a heap of screws. So let's grab everything out of there. Let's grab everything out of there. We'll grab everything out of there, and we should have everything that we need to do what we need to do. So we need to make a bunch of screws. We need to make 9 reinforced, I think, if I remember correctly. 9. We'll make 9 of those anyway, because they're just good to have. That'll do. Build 10 of those as well, and that should be 3. Iron rods. I need 3 iron rods. Cool. Alright, so that should allow us to make 1, 2, 3. And now we just need 12 screws. Hey, perfect. Like it was meant to be. Right, so there's our object scanner. Let's figure out how this all works. Is it a main hand? Yes, it is. Scanning for power slugs. How do we... Ah, there we go. Okay, and then berries. So I don't know how it works. I guess like that. Okay, well, I mean that's a little inconvenient because I've already plucked that one. So, I mean, so it detects plucked ones. That's kind of annoying. There we go. That works. Alright, okay, so I guess I understand the reason for having it. Makes sense. It's a shame that you can't ping like you can with this thing. But hey, you know. Beggars can't be choosers. Yes, yep, there's a plucked plant there. Alright, that's cool. Let's switch back to the taser. One thing we haven't done in a wee while that we should probably go and tend to. Yeah, we're going to have to make that split line very, very soon. Struggling to keep up with those. Struggling to keep up a little bit with the rods.
R&D wishes me to tell you these colored pedals are useful for 2 things. Dating and creating color cartridges. Mandatory reminder that you are under 24/7 surveillance. The derived blueprint is now accessible in the hub.
I don't know what that means, but that's fine. It's available at the hub, so I'm guessing it's here. No, oh no, here. Right. What is it, and where is it, and why should we have it? The color gun. Right. Paints factory building and vehicles. The color can be adjusted prior to painting. That is a very cool concept. Very, very awesome. Get rid of the nasty little orange. Give it a sweet little midnight blue color. Alright, we'll get to that later on. We have enough sheets. What if we take a moment from our researching binge and maybe fix up that copper, keep saying copper, the iron production. Let's do it. Let's do it. Conveyor belt. I don't know what's going to happen to all that stuff on top of it, but that's alright. Let's break the top container there. Let's break the conveyor belt. Alright, so what I'm thinking is it would come out of the smelter into a storage container still, but instead of it going around into the middle there, we're going to curve it around this way. So let's put a storage container down first. Hey, I did it. Managed to connect the lines. Stunning. Alright. So now it's got a terminating point if it ever backlogs. Now, I would build a splitter. And I feel like it would be best suited here. And you can plonk it right inside of that building. That is just fantastic. Okay, so I don't know, I guess probably there. Yeah, guessing probably there. Right, and then we branch that around and invalid shape. Of course it is. Q. Let's put it there. Now it's got a bit more distance to sort its shape out. That's fine. Alright. Now, we need to put it into 2 constructors. So we need to make 2 constructors. And we've got enough to make 2, so that's just very, very fortunate. One. 2. 1. 2. Right, it's not going to look the prettiest, let's be honest. But it's going to get the job done, and it's more about efficiency rather than looks. So, these things here are going to make rods, both of them. When they're finished, they're then going to spit out I wonder. I might move the storage container there. Yeah, let's move the storage container here. Storage container organization. Let's jump over here. That'll do. That's fine. Storage container. Perfect. Now, what we should then be able to do is go to logistics, go to QA conveyor merger. Spin that thing around to there. Clip that onto there. Clip that onto there. And of course get stuck. Everything is going according to plan and everything breaks down while I'm stuck. That's just unfortunate. Alright. There to there. Then it can go from there up to there. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Now, these things don't look like they require power, which is great. We've only got one more line up there. We need 1 bag of concrete. 1 singular bag of concrete. Alright, 1 there, 2. Can't afford, require cable. That's fine, we can handle that, no big deal. Alright, let's run. Wait, are using our fourth. Okay. That's fine, because this thing here is only going to be using 2. So if I run from... If I break that one there, we should be able to run from there to there and there, there, across to there. Right, so that should be all of the power needs sorted. Those things there have been told what they're making. Right, now to go and sort the fuel problem. I knew it was a matter of time before we burnt through all of that biofuel we had. So, we'll sit here and we'll turn all of that into biomass and fill our inventory almost immediately. Our power consumption needs are now going to be through the roof a bit. We're going to have to start that third power reactor because we were sitting right at 40 and now we've introduced an extra constructor into the line, so it's just going to push up to 45. So we're going to have to open the third one there. I think what we'll do is we'll make 200 fuel for each one, and that should let them loose for a bit. But what we might do is... no, we'll do all 3 machines at once. Put them all on standby and kick them all off. Just 70 more of this. That should tide them over for a bit. We've got no biomass left after this, which means we're going to have to go and deforest the land a little bit. Let's go into here and throw 200 on there. Throw 200 on there. I knew you're going to blow the fuse right away. That's fine. And 200 on there. And hit the switch. Here we go. It's alive! There we go. That one there wasn't as dramatic, but that's okay. You get the idea. Alrighty then. Now we pop down here. We hit this thing. We flick that on. Come along here. We hit this thing and we turn that on. So we've got 2 impures. That's it's just gonna continue as if nothing happened. That's already putting ingots into there. That's already splitting ingots. Those 2 machines are going to grab those ingots. Going to turn them into metal rods. They're going to come into the merger. Let's see how they come out. Cool. Here we go. Nice steady flow now. 2 by 2. Perfect. So that should keep that happy for a while. So, let's grab all of that. Let's go over and grab some copper wire. It's looking reasonably barren around here after cutting a few trees down, but we're going to have to go and do it again soon. Take all of our copper, so we've got enough copper wire to do what we need to do. I think we've got enough iron sheets, yep, and we just need about 33 rods there to do what we need to do, and conveniently we've got it right beside our crafting table, which is awesome. Now the only other way that I think we could probably be a wee bit more efficient is if we took this line here we could take that line there, break it down, put a constructor and have it come up and put into that same container. I think we will. Let's do it. Let's break all of that down. Break that down. And it can sit in a storage container for a little bit. Okay. So, originally it was going from that into a constructor. which it'll do the same thing again. Now, I want to do something, and it's going to look really, really crazy for a second, but, yeah, I thought that would be the case. And can we make it loop around on itself? Yes, we can. Question is, can we do this? Can I clip one of those on? I just want to see how this works. If it works, it'll be fantastic. It'll be very, very entertaining to see if this works. If I can get it to loop around onto there. Other clearance. Of course it is. So, I'd love to know where, though, it's hitting that gap, because we could take it just over there and clip it onto the merger, and they would all break into the same line. So, let's put it here instead, where we know it's going to be able to go. No, let's take it back a little bit. Let's try this. Yeah, that seems to work. And so the question is, at what point is it not liking it anymore? So if I put this here and then clip that up there, can we go from there to there? No. Okay, what if we take it up an extra level? What if we take it up 2? Where is its clearance that it's having a problem with? Okay, what if we... Let's go crazy. Let's just do this. Have it come basically straight out. Need a bunch of concrete. For what I'm going to try. There's got to be a way that we can make clearance. That way. Conveyor belt is too steep. That was to be expected. Alright, and if I put a 4th one here and took it like right up to there, can I? Okay. I'm going to make this clearance one way or another. Apparently not. Encroaching other clear. Alright, I feel like you need to be higher. I feel like that's what you need from me. Okay. How? Alright, let's tilt that there and let's go all the way up there. Oh man, that sucks. I just want to bring it around into there, that's all I want. Alright, I'm going to have to do it the boring way, which was just the long way. Let's at least make it look nice, I guess. Conveyor belt to there. Conveyor belt to there. Conveyor belt to there. Conveyor belt to... No. Conveyor belt to... whoops. That's not much use to me down there. That'll do. It's not as cool as what I was hoping, but it'll get the job done. Alright, and on that note as well, we're going to have to build another... How much we got there? Yep, it should be enough to do just one, and that's all we need. From there to there. And this thing here was making that. And this thing here goes from there to there. Here we go. Let's go split that out. I'm just going to take it for a nice long journey all the way over here. Doing a U-turn here, coming down into there and merging with this line here and that nice little spot there. And everything we need is going to come into this one location. Perfect. Right. Sorry for that little detour, folks. Got everything we need to make our conveyor walls, so we'll do that now. That old launchpad Rooney.
Milestone reached. To ensure optimal use of space, navigation and tidiness, R&D have developed stairs and conveyor walls.
So conveyor walls is just a wall with a little tiny component in it that allows us to put a conveyor belt through the opening in a wall, which is pretty cool. We're not going to get too involved in any of that fancy trickery just yet. We're going to try and double time, burn through our study log for tier 1 and tier 2, wrap it up there for the day, and hopefully get one more part in. Before the closed beta weekend finishes up. So, we've already done tier 1, that's all finished. We just need to burn through tier 2. So, we do have quite a large demand for a few things on this one. We've almost got enough for that gun colour, or the colour gun. So we'll make that real quick. We'll grab the last of the copper wire that we need. So there was an alien there for a second. Alright. So when that thing comes back in 20 seconds, we'll be able to do that. So we're going to double time this last section here, like I was saying before. We'll try and get a part 3 organised for you guys to do that last tier there, which means that we've done all of the tier completions in the closed beta weekend. So, that has just touched down. Let's throw 100 of those in, 100 of those in, and 250 of those in, and send him away. Doesn't want to go. There we go. Color gun. I kind of want to make the color gun to see what it looks like. It'll be equipment, I'd say. Oh no, well there's the color cartridge, which we just need little flowers for. So we might grab the flowers out and make a couple of those. There we go, that'll do. I'll put some of this away. Put all the trees away for now. Alright. And the color gun, we should be able to make over here. What is that? Screws. 80 screws. We managed that. 80 screws, 90 screws. That'll do. And one color gun coming right up. We'll go and spray some graffiti on this high-tech stuff. Graffiti gun. To reload. It's a very well-used gun. I don't know how we can change. Color picker is currently unavailable. Okay. Oh! Right, so you just pull the trigger and it just paints everything some random tone. Looks like it's blue and yellow. Can't paint that. We'll run rampant and just turn everything blue, since we've got enough color cartridges for that. You can be blue. You can be blue. You can be blue. That's going to be quite cool, customization wise later on, using letting people choose the color that they want. So we're not running efficiently. We've just learned here. This thing here is now struggling to produce them as fast as what that's outputting. So we might, at a later stage, look at splitting that up. We'll sprint down here and just quickly coat everything in blue. You can be blue. Blue for you, blue for you. That's blue, that's blue, that's blue, that's blue, that's blue. You could be blue as well. And you. There we go. We have bluified everything. Perfect. Well, that was very cool. Alrighty, what is next on our list of things to make? Let's do the jump pads next. Bit of a smaller one there. 500 copper there, which is good. That's all we need for that. We'll take all of that. Now, how are we going? We've got 200 rods. We are shy on plates. We've only got 150, so we'll manually produce the last 50 of those. Cool. We'll throw that and that, that and that, and 500, and send that thing on its way.
Milestone reached. Buildings aimed at factory traversal, including several different categories of jump pads, can now be accessed in the build menu. Caution is recommended during use of these products.
What I'm going to do, just so that the miner is running at optimal, is I might just quickly split this. So the first thing we want to do is it comes out of the smither there into ingots. It's going to go into logistics. It's going to go into a splitter. The splitter needs to be spun around to there. I need to find out how far back it can go. That's fine. We'll just plonk it down anywhere. That'll do. We won't connect that up just yet because that's just going to let everything run rampant after that. It's going to come out into 2 constructors. Production constructors, we've got enough for 2 constructors, that is awesome. That's 1. They'll do. They're not lined up perfectly, but that's okay. Well, it might not be okay in a second if these don't line up. That one is most certainly not going to line up. That is... magic. Alright, that's fine. That'll do. It's not the shiniest, but that's fine. Now we're going to leave this little middle area here open. That way we can put a little storage container in there if we absolutely need to. But as for these things, we're going to put a merger into here. That is going to come out there. These are going to go into nowhere because we don't have the material. I'm going to grab all of that though. Sprint over there, put that into there, put that into there, and that's going to come out into a storage container. Alright. We've got 2 things connected there, so we need to plonk this there. We need to plug that into there, that into there, and that. Can take up the last slot on that thing. Now, we do that to there. We turn that into wire. We turn this thing into wire. And because we're reasonably consistent, not really, but we'll give these a splurt of blue as well. There we go. Copper wires for days. Perfect. How are these things going? 150 left in each of them. We're going to switch back to our little taser here. We're going to grab everything out of there. We'll grab whatever copper wire we can out of here. That's fine. And let's have a look at our next objective. The walkways. Yeah, let's do walkways. So we've got enough of the rods. We might do some manual production of the sheets. Or the plates, just to help out. Alright, so we've got two more things to research, and that's that tier done. Might check out these bounce pads just very, very quickly as well, before we wrap everything up. That'll leave us nice and tidy for part 3. If we can get onto it fast enough. If not, if we're not able to get a part 3 out, the game is looking at being released mid to end of March. I'll be looking at picking a copy up of that for myself and looking at playing that with some of our community members. So if you do manage to get your hands on a copy for yourself, let us know on our Facebook page there or in the comment section below. And we'll have to organise a session for us to get together and explore the planet. Right, we're at 200, 200, and 148 of those. Now, there's no way that this thing's produced 500 very quickly, but 100 will do. We can go over here and we can make a few ourselves. We can make 300 here, so that should get us to our 5. 400. And 500. Alright, we can send this thing away now. And away it goes.
Milestone reached. After medical consultation, additional buildings aimed at factory traversal have been added. Walkways can now be accessed in the build menu.
So there's all of the new walkways. There's the walls that we were talking about earlier. So we can see that they've got little tiny platforms there, similar to the stands that go underneath the conveyor belts. So we can run conveyors inside if we want to. We've got wall mounted ones too. So there's definitely a base building element to the game. Now the only thing that we haven't made as well that we have to make there is the space elevator. So we're going to have to look at building that possibly in part 3 as well, because that looks like it's quite a bit of a build there with the requirements. Get over here, I'll grab everything out of there. Next stage is going to be quite a big one. I think at a quick glance before, yeah, we're looking at 1,000 copper there. The 300 of the other one shouldn't be too bad to make. I might take 100 out of there so it can take all of that backlog. We'll let that keep mass producing there, and we'll go and do some of these manually just to help out. Just chomping away quietly there. So that's 300. So we can see that that space elevator there is going to take up a bit of time. We'll save that for part 3. We'll do our last tier of the hub upgrade in part 3, as well as the space elevator there, and wrap it up. There is no progress that we can make any further here in the closed beta / alpha weekend. I'm not 100% sure which one it's in, but we'll try and get all of that content done during the closed beta, and then we'll start a new series of this after it's been released. So we'll craft a few wires there. And this is going to give the actual automated side of the business a bit of time to get those plates and rods organised. We need 300 rods. We've got 139, so we're almost halfway on those, and we've got 119 iron plates, so we're not quite halfway on that. So we might have to go and assist with that side of it as well. So we're up to 600 of the copper wire. So what we'll do is we'll have a look here, we'll grab all that. Our little drone's back, that's good. Now there is a storage container over here, and it's likely that, yeah, that's backing up. I'm going to take all of that. That'll allow us to go and make some sheets to help out with the effort there. Go and make some plate. So there's 200 plates now. We need 100 more. We'll keep making some wire there. So we've got 500, 600 wire, 800 wire. We'll break enough of these copper ingots down into wires so we can make 200. That'll get that done. The rods shouldn't be too far away, which is good. And the sheets shouldn't be too far away either, so let's make the last of those 200 wire. Alright, and there's 1,000 copper wire. Right, let's head over here, grab all of that. So that's 260 iron rods and 244 iron plates. So we're almost there for our final stage. Now let's go and check this storage container down here. See if there's any sort of backlog we can take, which is not. That's keeping up with it. That's keeping up with things, and that's keeping up with things. We're running reasonably efficient at the moment. We've got everything coming back to a centralized location. There doesn't seem to be any sort of backlog in any of the smithers or in any of the storage containers, except for the ones that we want them to be in, which is good. Let's go and check fuel levels. We're at 293 iron rods and 258 iron plates with 125 to spare. 100 extra copper wire there, which is just working towards us being able to make that elevator. Let's pop in here and see if there's anything we can make other than the 10 alien corpses, if you will, or shells. We've only got 6, we'd have to go and kill 4 more. Right, there's 311 and 267. So what we might do is we might actually just sit on this line and steal everything. Just to speed that up a little bit. Actually, what we could do is we could sit there with our chisel as well. Just help out there by taking... So this is what I mean with it being impure. We're getting 1 per swing, as before on the pure one we were getting 6 per swing. That'll do. We'll go and turn that into plates. Won't give us many, but that's okay. $288 and 300 exactly. So we've got enough to send that guy away now. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, and hey presto, we have now finished tier 2.
Complex assembly of parts can now be automated.
Alright, so we've got we've just unlocked the assembler, which crafts 2 parts into another, which I don't think at the moment we've got anything that requires the need to merge 2 elements into one. Just at a quick glance, that requires 1, that requires 1, that's 1, that's 1, that's 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1. Rotors required 2, but we've only just unlocked that, and modular frames required 2, but we've just unlocked that as well. Well, that's everything for that tier. So for us to move on to the final tier there that's available for us in the alpha, we're going to complete the space elevator, phase 1. So we'll look at doing that when we are back in part 3. So we're at 200 there, and it looks like for us to make that space elevator, just at a quick look, we need 500 concrete there, 250 sheets, 400 iron rods, and 1500 copper wire. So it would take us too long to get that all together. We got similar numbers for that final stage there. We got 1,000 wire. We got 300 iron rod, 300 iron plate, and of course no concrete. So the concrete one is going to take a little bit because we haven't automated the concrete, and I'm not 100% sure if we can. It looks like the layout of the concrete is a little bit different. I don't know, maybe we can. Either way, we'll just do manual concrete making for now. We can look at automating that next time. And I think that's everything, so we'll have a nice little overview. We've got a copper line buttering along there. It's not as efficient as I'd like, so we need to put 2 smithers on that line, because that is a pure line rather than an impure line, so that's why there's quite a bit of backlog on that one where there's not on our other 2. We've got all the power that we need for probably a wee while. We've got constructors and mass storage being done, so all of our copper being produced there. And of course all of our iron sheets and iron rods there fully automated and running nice and efficiently. So I think that's a good spot to leave it. Thanks everybody for watching. As always, I'm Terrorconn and you've been watching Terrorconn Gaming. Feel free to check us out on Facebook, like our page there, and keep an eye on us on our page on Facebook for your chance at some giveaways of some games, as well as keeping an eye out for your calling card for you to come and join in with me on some of the games that we're going to be playing and some of the other Terrorconn Gaming crew that I've played a couple games with so far on some of our other videos. Feel free to check us out on YouTube as well. Got a couple of videos there for you to go and peruse through. I am partnered up with the Humble Bundle team as well, so there'll be a link in the description for that as well. The Humble Bundle's a great team there. You can get some pretty sweet discounted games in nice packaged bundles, and they change them every couple of weeks, as well as offer a monthly subscription for you to get some random games once a month. And there's some fantastic games there that we'll be looking at and doing videos on in the future. Thanks again everybody for watching. I am Terrorconn, and as always, have a good one.